All right, back at it. Crazy day here. We had the Fed. We had the Fed talking today around 2 o'clock. Had the classic explosive move up. So if we look in here, had the explosive move up. Everything was looking good for a second. And also prior to that, I should mention, we were literally just grinding sideways from the open till 2 o'clock, a little before 2 o'clock. So we were really setting up for a big move. And we got that move up, and then all of a sudden, well, I guess not all of a sudden, probably around 2:30 here, we just fell off a cliff and gave it all back plus some. Now we're basically right at this 500 line. We've bounced slightly after hours, but we've given the whole move back, and we're essentially right where we started, which is basically par for the course with the post-Fed, let's say 24-hour next activity. Usually it goes up, it goes down, and then it's somewhere where it started, and then we go from there. So we had, I think it was Amazon. Was it Amazon after hours yesterday? We still got these earnings coming through. Some of these ones from last week are starting to kind of settle in. So we're just going to go through a few things here and keep it moving. The CGC was crazy from yesterday that I talked about with this huge after hours gap up that we saw. Well, this basically, which isn't terrible, I guess, it gave back not all of the move, but a good portion of it. Basically just had a big sell-off today. So this is definitely still on, a strong watch, but we got to let this kind of consolidate for a bit, and maybe people kind of, it falls off their radar a little bit. But of course, this huge green candle, huge volume, we like this, so we'll keep an eye on that. Also, this SMMT, I'm not sure if I had mentioned this beforehand, but I was running through some of my watch lists, and I came across this. Look at this 10-year monthly. We had the big volume back here in 2022, almost 500 million here, 500 million in the volume. And now we are approaching that level where we had this huge volume back a few years ago. 426, so we're actually slightly above it. We've come out of it right in here. We've also, I think we have a nice, I like the moving averages on this also. Yeah, we have a nice look on the moving averages. We have that 426 key level. I believe this actually had earnings today as well. It's on a huge volume trader. Yeah, it did have earnings today too, so that's good. It's on a huge volume trader day to day, but when you couple in that big move back here, this is just, you see volume like this, you can't just let that go. This could have legs to it. Sometimes it just takes a long time. So we could be getting to that point here. We're at breakout levels, so very interested. This is now on the front of my to-do list. We'll go through Zim. Zim is the crazy relatively strong name. This shot up 910, so a little pre-market, and then into the morning consolidated, continued to grind higher. I was shocked by this. And even, well, it did end up rolling over with the market. But even with the market kind of choppy and sideways in the morning, this thing just kept going. This has been one of those names that once it gets going, it just doesn't stop. Since this spot here that we highlighted, 419 at $10, it hasn't stopped. Monster winner. Like, that's a beauty right there. Also, this QBTS, I'm looking at this 10-year monthly, looks really nice to me. I'm starting to zone in on this. This key level working in between this 130 and this 2 zone. This 130 and this 2 zone in here. I'm starting to keep my eye on it. I don't think it's ready yet, but the big picture looks really nice, and this is almost identical, this RGTI. I think they're both AI plays. They're both semiconductor kind of AI sector. So two names that look very similar. I like the shape of those. And if you look at some of these bigger picture AI names, they've kind of been beaten down. This SOUN was a monster winner. That's now cooled off a bit, so NNOX also. So I mean, we could, and then if Nvidia decides to come back up and flirt with those highs at 950, we could see these two little cheapies go. So I like the way those look. RBLX today, beautiful, beautiful. Gave us this beautiful little consolidation here. Shot up to this 37.80 zone. Took some heat with the market in the afternoon. That was kind of inevitable. But this here looked great intraday, right at that 36 level. This is really starting to look nice here. If you look in on the daily here, we really have this. We have this nice action right in here where it's getting tighter, starting to find some levels that it's holding. I highlighted this. I'll keep going over this because I know this is going to be a monster winner. Well, I don't know, but I'm confident in the way this looks. I believe this has big potential. But this level here, this 34.12, has been basically almost the dead bottom in here. So anything above that, it looks like maybe the bottom's put in, and we could get going here now. So we'll see what the overall markets do, but this one's starting to get interesting. And it provided a good day trade today. So there's different levels that you treat different time frames of the trade. Like this was a nice day trade today inside this 36 and beyond move here. But if you want to look at it from a bigger picture perspective and more of a swing trade, then this could just be the beginning. So it all depends on what you're looking at, how you're looking at it. But I see some potential there. Let's see a couple other quick ones. Okay, I'm still looking at the Krispy Kreme. Also, I forgot to mention the McDonald's had earnings yesterday, and I think Krispy Kreme was getting dragged down because this move was responsible, or this move happened because of the news with the partnership with McDonald's. So then I started thinking, okay, well, if McDonald's is fading, then this is gonna have some selling. So something to keep in mind going forward. But it is starting to I guess, kind of hold. We highlighted this. We highlighted this 1280 zone over here, where this all began. So that's the zone I'm watching in. I mean 12 again. If you want to have a wider risk, 12. But I think we're getting close to a good bounce zone there. So that is probably going to be it tonight. I'm just going to quickly run through this Upwork. I've been talking about this Upwork for a while. I think that there was, yep, so Upwork had earnings. Even prior to that, this must have been today after hours. Yeah, this happened after hours. This was looking strong. It had a little news. I forget what the news was, but I saw some news on it. This was starting to move up. And we talked about this probably 2 weeks ago now. This nice monthly 10-year really shaping up here. You can see it good on the weekly 2-year here. We had this big volume here, which is key. It held this level over here. So now we're kind of in between these key levels, the top and bottom of this candle essentially. So if this was to get tight in this 13-14 zone, this could really get exciting. So this is going to start to move up the watch list. And like I say, I repeat these names often, but what happens is all of a sudden quickly they come back on radar, and you need to be prepared. And if you've continued to watch them, it's easy to kind of jump right on, you know. Also another one, Alt-M. Talked about this the other day. I was liking the look of it here. We have nice curling action. I think this has earnings coming up. A lot of the plays that I'm looking at right now seem to have earnings May 9th. So we need to keep that in mind. Alt-M looks good though. Some of these EV names look pretty good. Good compared to, you know, horrible, but they're making these nice little kind of curlers, bottom curlers here. Kind of all got that same little look. So that's something we'll keep an eye on. Obviously Tesla's going to affect that, but we're going to keep everything on radar and stay ready.